Composed by Antonio Carlos Jobim, Wave is a beautiful bossa nova that is frequently played at jam sessions, so it's well worth checking out and having underneath your fingers. In this lesson, I'm going to give you a harmonic analysis, a few lines, and a few of my own perspectives on how you can create a solo over this beautiful harmonic structure. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, Jamie Holroyd here, helping you learn jazz guitar. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here and you want a structured guide on learning jazz guitar, then please check out my free beginner ebook, which is listed and linked below. Today I'm going to teach you a few things that you can play over Wave by Antonio Carlos Jobim. If you'd like to get a downloadable PDF for any of this stuff, then you can find that on my Patreon page. In terms of structure, Wave follows the typical AABA form, but is unusually 44 bars in length. The best way to think about this is to really think of the A sections as 12 bar sections, and they're basically a blues, so you can think of Wave as being a blues with a bridge. In a blues you typically play the 12 bars round twice, so that's what you've got here, two 12 bar sections with a bridge, then with a final A section. In terms of a harmonic analysis, this song starts on the 1 chord, which in this key is D major 7, then we've got a passing diminished chord in bar 2, which we'll come to that later on in this lesson. Then we have a 2-5 to the 4, so that gives us A minor 7, D7, bar on each, to the 4 chord of the key. Now, in the bar after, you can either think of the 4 chord becoming minor, so we can think of G major going to G minor 7, or you can think of it going up a 4th to C7. G minor and C7 are basically the same chord, so there isn't really much difference there. Following that, we go to an F sharp 7. I usually like to play an F sharp sus 13 chord here. The bar afterwards, you can either think of an F sharp minor or a B7. Once again, I like to think of that major to minor thing, so I will typically go something like this. I'll go F sharp sus, and then I'll go to an F sharp 7 with a flat 13 before going to an F sharp minor. So basically the same chord as that B7 right there. The last couple of bars of the A section go to an E7, so a secondary dominant, a 2 dominant 7 there. Then we've got this little tritone 2-5 thing, back to D minor. So from the beginning we've got a 1 chord, diminished, 2, 5, 1, minor, F sharp sus, F sharp minor, E7, B flat, A, 2, 5. The bridge of the song goes to a 2-5-1 in F first. Then we have a 2-5-1 in E flat, down a tone, 5 chord, back into our 1 major 7. So that's the harmonic analysis. When it comes to improvising over this song, everyone seems to slip up over that diminished chord in bar 2. There's a few ways that you can combat this. The first way is just simply to ignore it and leave it, so you can play something perhaps in bar 1 and bar 3 and then just leave that out. That leaves the second option, which is obviously addressing it, and there's a few different ways which you can do that. The second is by basically adapting one note of a motif to cover the chord. That's what Barney Cassell does at the start of his solo. The line that Barney opens his solo with goes like this. So you can hear that over bar 2 he's still basically thinking of a D major scale, but he changes this note, which is the 5th, moves it up a semitone to cater for that chord, and then keeps the motif going before resolving to the B natural. So that line once again slowly goes like this. Let's hear that over some chords. The next way that you can improvise over this chord is to think of it as being an A7 flat 9. The reason why this is useful is because shortly after that a D7 comes up, which means you can create a cycle, right? A minor 7 is basically the same as D7, so you can basically think D major 7, A7 flat 9, D7. Let's have a listen to how this chord sounds if I think of an A7 flat 9 over it. There are several parts of this progression that lend itself well to guide tone soloing, one of which is when it goes to the 4 chord in bar 5 there. So I'm talking about the transition from the D7. So the guide tone which I've written out for you guys to study starts on the D7 and it sounds like this over the chords. I hope these things help get you started with Wave. Besides practicing these techniques, I highly recommend you check out some recordings of the tune. First and foremost should be the original by Antonio Carlos Jobim. He plays a beautiful piano solo on that, which is well worth checking out if you haven't heard it. Guitaristically speaking, there's a version by Barney Cassell, which I mentioned earlier. There's also a recording by Johnny Smith on his Phase 2 album. There's also a version by Paul Desmond which contains Ed Bickett on guitar from the 1975 Pure Desmond album. And the last version that I can think of is by Martin Taylor and Ike Isaacs, and that's on their After Hours duo album if you can find it. If you found this video useful, please click like and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.